All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third and final game of this best of three, and this is on Oasis. Now, I think game 1 and game 2, they weren't necessarily the closest games ever, but they were dominant displays from both teams that had victories. This game here, if it ends up on YouTube, will probably be the only game from the set that will hit YouTube. And YouTube, if you see it, this is part of a best of three in the tournament Escape Champions League. This tournament spans over the course of a year. I'm just really excited to see what happens here, simply because how often is it you see Oasis at the high level? Not very often. Not very often at all. I'm going to introduce the teams, guys. We'll talk about the civs a little bit. We have CL. CL is playing as the Mongols for Frantic Team. The Pocket is the Fat Dragon. Vivi, he's playing as the Spanish. And then in the green, we have Franks for Tim. So pretty strong positions, I would say, for the Frantic Team. We have Nilly, who's up against Tim. He's playing as the Mongols. His Pocket is Eddie. Eddie is Mayans. And then we have Franks for Melkor. And so we will be seeing an Oasis game on 3v3. And as you guys can see, most of the wood on Oasis is in the center. And on this map, you'll probably see a lot of walls. It might be difficult for some players to do it early on, but it is Frantic. There's a lot of points and prize pool on the line here, so it's important that you wall, and it's important that you lame. Tim, well, luckily has a Frank scout here, because that's a really bad start to this lane. He can actually lose his scout. Can Nilly block this? Tim has 11 HP on this scout. I don't think he can even weave back and forth to save his boar. I think he has to save his scout and go back. And Nilly, with a great job there, is kind of a combination of Nilly seeing the fact his boar was being stolen. Wait! Vivi, the Fat Dragon's here! The Fat Dragon's here to save the day! Nilly's got to be thinking, you've got to be kidding me. You almost killed Tim's scout. But now you got another one here, China? Are you kidding me? That's hilarious. So Vivi just finishes the job, and he will steal the boar from Nilly. Nilly can just steal the boar from Tim, but what great teamwork from Frantic here. And Nilly loses his boar. Will he gain one? Probably, unless he has a massive fail here and loses his scout. Yeah, so laming's big, walling is big. If this goes late game, we will have Frank Paladin, Mangadai from Mongols, and Plumed Archers from Mayans, versus maybe Paladins from Franks, Conquistadors from Spanish, and, well, Mangadai from Mongols. Looking at the civs, the big difference maker is the Mayans and Spanish pick. Spanish long-term will be better for Frantic, I think, because they have the Spanish trade, and they'll be getting more gold per trip. You look at Mayans. Mayans are maybe a bit better early on with the Plumed Archers. Mayans and Spanish are the difference maker. So how many people here watching the Twitch chat, and I guess YouTube as well, if this goes up to YouTube in the future, like the map Oasis? The reason I ask this is because it's different, and it's a map that I really liked when I was kind of new to the game. I'm kind of an old fart now, you know? I've been playing this game for 5 years, and let's be honest, I'm kind of a tryhard, so I tend to opt for Arabia more often than not, just like the pro players in rated games, but I'm just curious. I really did like the map for a while until people figured out they could fully stonewall it and it would take 5 hours. But, you know, 4v4s, it's easier to get the stonewalls up. 3v3s, not so easy. The strategies can be different, and we see the uptime for CL, and we see the uptime for Melkor, so both of these guys will be going for scouts. Dagul says, T90, are these teams on TeamSpeak? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're all on voice comms of some form. I don't know what they use. I don't know if they prefer TeamSpeak or FaceTime or Discord or Skype or... I don't know. I don't know what strikes their fancy, but yes, teams will all use voice communication. That's why when you see a signal, they're talking about it. They're not typing about it, right? So Vivi probably said, hey, barracks there. That's probably what he just did. Nilly's on the way up and Tim is on the way up, so the flanks are going to fight this one out. Come on, guys. Don't act like you've never used FaceTime to play to communicate in Age of Empires 2. Don't act like that's ridiculous. That's what Dave and I do. You guys think Dave is co-casting? No, he's on FaceTime, my other monitor. Just kidding. Just kidding. Nilly will build scouts. Tim will do the same. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. Tim will go for man-at-arms. Is he going forward? Oh, wow. Well, if he's going forward, this is quite late, actually. CL's going for the stone walls. Surprise, surprise. Let's get the T90 walls in the chat. This is making me feel uneasy for Frantic. This is making me feel quite uneasy because Nilly has some solid walls up. And he's going to get his stable and then he can just run back. And he'll have time to deal with this. So there's the first tower from Tim. Now, you know what this might be? This might be the strat from Tim so he can get the stone walls up. Because he's going to palisade wall his base while he's going forward. So that's already up. And then he could stonewall later on. So different styles. Definitely different from what I expected. You would think that with Franks you would go for scouts here. That's not the case. And maybe they realize that Nilly has both of his stones forward. And Nilly's Mongols. And he would want that. Oh, Tim's going to tower hop through, guys. He's going to tower hop through. And Nilly immediately building gates and defensive towers because he knows pressure's coming. And then we have the gates still going up from CL. There's a gap here he hasn't walled yet. And here he hasn't walled this either. And there's also a wolf. Melkor, you know, he went with only spearmen. He didn't even go for scouts. Now let's see. Will there be a T90 woo? There will be a T90 woo. Well played, Melkor. The wolf getting the kill, though. And they're just jostling for position, basically. And wow, Melkor kills another Vil of CL. The CL's other name is Happy Happy, and I can guarantee you he's not very happy about all of this. So the players that went scouts just kind of wasted their stable because of this. And this comes down to how much preparation the teams had and just how good the strategy is. And it's funny to see how the strategy is played out similarly on both sides. And Nilly has to now wall to the corner, and he's not. This is all open, right? Vivi and Eddie are on the way to Castle Age. So Vivi and Eddie, will they add knights of some kind? Yes, Vivi will send some knights. Keep in mind, Eddie's Mayan, so he would have to wait for plumed archers, but he will send some support. I like Heresy's position more, and I hate to sound so surprised. I don't mean to be disrespectful to Heresy, but if the Heresy players heard me say this, they probably would say that they were at a disadvantage going into this set too. This would be seen as a huge upset if Frantic were to go down. Frantic are in third place positionally in this event, and they're just out of reach of second by 1 point in the standings. Nilly has no stone as far as I know. That's the biggest concern, because long term he needs to be going for Mangadai. Another concern is that Eddie will have to wait for his castle to be built to send any support with the plumed archers. But man, CL is getting wrecked over here. He is getting wrecked, and he just now got the stone walls up. What is happening here? Everybody's got Vils. It would be funny to see CL wall in the 3 Vils from Melkor. But no, he's just going to fight it. One woman goes down for Melkor. They're just trading women kills right now. This is 2018. I didn't think I'd be seeing this. So 1 for 1. That guy's trapped. He's like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Oh, he's actually gonna survive. And Melkor gets through with Vils. Again, just jostling for position. This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. CL has 3 less villagers. And he's trapped again. He's lost more. 29 Vils for Melkor. 24 for CL. This is ridiculous. I don't think you'll see this very often in an expert game. Unreal. Now this guy's trapped. Just Age of Empires things. And CL needs to... Wait, let the knight in, maybe? Let the knight in from Vivi and run in with your Vils. I would continue to run in. Oh, Melkor says not today. Oh! Oh! Keep it open! Keep it open, Happy! Keep it open! He deleted his wall. Can Vivi get through? Vivi, the fat dragon, looking to get through. Oh, God. And Melkor says, you can come in any way you like. You can come in next to my gate. You can come in next to here. Whatever you'd want. It's all you, man. And... my God, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You know, on the other side, it's worth pointing out that Eddie has built his castle in front of Nilly's TC. So he's making his plumes there, and Tim is working on getting more towers up, but he'll have to retreat. But Melkor, he is not going to keep this wall at this rate. And he's trying to gate this up. Happy says, no, not today. I'm going to build a tower. And fortunately, I think Melkor will kill that knight now. Which I think, this is a big think. I'm not certain, but I think that puts the Heresy team in the lead. Nice job from Melkor not to lose any additional villagers there. As I say that, he should lose one more. But no, he micros her away. Well played. And he's just getting more HP up on these gates. That was ridiculous, man. That was ridiculous. I need to kind of... need to try and understand what's happening here. Oh, Eddie's on the way to Imp. Eddie's gone for a 1 TC Imperial. Was he slung here? Forgot to add the... he was slung. Nilly slung resources to Eddie. Can Heresy do this? Nilly probably has gone for the right play here. They slung in game 2. They're going to sling now. Again, the sending of resources from Heresy. And I think that's a nice play because Nilly can't get to his stone anyway and get to Mangadai, so I think that's a nice play, and his economy's pretty bad. Now, there will probably be a castle forward from Eddie, and if he builds that, that will mean he can get through these stone walls that Tim has built. Guys, I think Heresy can do this. If Frantic can buy time, and I'm talking 10-20 minutes, then they have a huge lead because Vivi has 57 vills. But Tim could die. Tim could die. And it would not surprise me to see Tim, as he's about to click up to Castle Age, massively stonewall behind here. Just stone walls on stone walls on stone walls, because he needs to. I think Vivi's probably saying Eddie has to be receiving sling. There's no way he would build a second castle at this time if he wasn't receiving resources. And now they know for sure Eddie's in the Imperial Age. Now they have to know for sure. So what is Tim going to do? What is Vivi going to do? Vivi will be making Castle Age Knights against this. He will not be in the Imperial Age. This is a great game. This is a fantastic game. That house will go down, and then I imagine one stone wall will go down. What's Tim's response to this? He hasn't moved yet. Oh no, here we go. Here we go, yes! Man, I wish Dave was co-casting this with me. He'd be losing his shit right now. Tim's making a run for it, guys. Tim's making a run for it. And he's stonewalling up. Fatsub would be so proud. Fatsub would be so proud. But honestly, it makes sense, right? It makes sense because he is going to die. In fact, didn't run away early enough with some of his other vills. The plumed archers are through, and here's the trebuchet. Now, I believe he's going to hit Castle Age. Yeah, that TC should just take him to Castle Age. 80%. 85%. It's going to be close, but he should still make it to Castle Age. Tim is walling desperately to keep his team in the game. Man, that was close. He's just going to hit Castle. Look at that. Woo! Too close for comfort, if you ask me. Now, I need to double check. Is there some more slinging going on? Did someone send resources to Vivi? No one has sent resources to Vivi. So Vivi's on the way to the Imperial Age with his own economy. Really just shows you how strong his economy is. 80 vills. So Nilly will continue to send all of his resources to Eddie. Eddie's building a third castle now. And Tim will be forced to build more stone walls with stone that he does not have. He only has 3 stone. He doesn't have the stone to build more stone walls here. I think he's going to get fortified wall. I don't even know if Franks get it. Yeah, they do. They do. It's an important upgrade to have here. Vivi had to send 140 stone to Tim. And Tim has to put these walls up quickly. These plumes could actually stop that, but Eddie is not paying attention to it. Alright, well, what's going on with Melkor? Melkor's just booming, and I think that's the same for CL. Yeah, they're just adding their own economy. They're not really in this game right now, but later on they might be. Good point from the Twitch chat. I think that the Petards would be a better play than Trebuchets. And a few people, like AFK's Rogue, said T90 Petard. Well, there is a Petard from Eddie, but that's it. Just one. Eddie has a lot of momentum now. But that momentum will eventually... Well, it's still working out for him, but eventually it might not be enough. And Tim continues to build these fortified walls. Vivi continues to send stone to Tim so he can do that. And Vivi just wants full paladin. Keep in mind, as this game goes on, once trade begins, the Chinese team, I wanted to say the Spanish team, but that would confuse people. The Chinese team, since they have Spanish, they would be better off because they get more gold per trip. Also, they will be better off because there's more economy for Vivi. However, Nili is kind of... He's looking pretty good with 60 vills right now himself, so it's not as if he can't join into the game later on. For now, though, Nili wouldn't be useful. Melkor wouldn't be useful, because these are Imperial Age armies, so it's simply about Vivi and Eddie. I would say that the resources that Eddie's getting makes his economy stronger than Vivi's economy, because Vivi's only receiving resources that he's collecting. And there's the Petards. That's what you guys wanted to see. That's what you guys wanted to see. There's going to be a big fight here. I don't know if Vivi can fight this, guys. I think that the upset could be coming. Oh, Eddie, where are you going? Is he scared to fight it? I think he's scared to fight it. And, yeah, he's running back. At least run in there and get a hit or two and hit and run, I think. Like, I thought he would come out, hit a few Cavalier, and just run back into the choke point. But I think it's better safe than sorry here, maybe. He wants Halberdier, and he wants the Plumed Archers. So now he has to wait for Halberdier, and now... Oh, Vivi. Oh, guys. Guys, he's running through. He's just run right past all of this, and he's going to run right to Nili's base, and Nili's aware. Nili has house walls for the most part. But he did get these stone walls up. I don't think that Vivi is going to get through here. But he could go for the house kill, maybe. What he should do is split his Cavalier up on multiple houses. And this is definitely the time for Eddie to push now. And Paladin's on the way for Vivi. But there's only 3 sitting here. I just noticed that Tim built a gate here in the meantime. It's just so crazy how stubborn these guys can be. Nili needs to hit all of these walls. He needs to be real quick with this. And I think that they'll be fine. Hit this wall, hit this wall, hit this wall, hit this wall. Don't let him through, Nili. Oh my god, that was so close. That was so close, but... Oh no! No! All you had to do was hit that wall once. You just needed a little bit of HP on it, and now the Paladins are into Nili's base. Oh my god. Oh my god. If he held there, then Vivi gets pushed, and Vivi's probably in big trouble. But now Vivi is going to destroy Nili. Nili has nothing to offer now in terms of sending resources over to Eddie. At the same time, though, this is not over. Eddie's building a castle forward. He has the Halberdier. He has the Elite Plume. And before I thought he could possibly fight it, now I still feel like this is an easy fight for him to take. Oh, that could have all been avoided, man. It could have all been avoided. But you know what? He's dealt with it well after letting the Paladins in. He has walled in some vills here. The Paladins are going to go to Eddie's base as well. Eddie should quick wall this, and he will. So, I guess they'll just all focus on Nilly's eco. Guys, Vivi's in trouble. He's making Paladins. He needs some support, and the support is here. CL is looking to make Mangadai. He has 2 castles to produce them, probably 3 soon as his stone climbs. However, he does not have upgrades on them yet, so he can't contribute at the moment. Tim is sending resources to Vivi now, it's worth pointing out. Tim realizes that he should just send the golden food he has to Vivi so he can make Paladins. And how's Nilly doing here? Well, he's going to lose his one and only TC. So, obviously not very good. Remember, he was at 70 vills. 70 vills, slinging all the resources he brought into Eddie. And now he doesn't have a lot of eco to send. And Vivi, he denies the castle at 90%. Kills the trebuchet to keep his castle up. Frantic have just delayed the inevitable. Well, they have not delayed the inevitable. They've delayed their death, and now they're coming back. It's definitely not inevitable at this point. I still don't know what to say or who to call this for. Melkor is going for Paladin. He'll be in the Imperial Age. I believe he will choose the left side. So perhaps he will show up with Eddie on that side. That would make sense instead of attacking the walls of Teal. Vivi's still not really in the best position because he needs Elite Mangadai to accompany him. And there are Elite Mangadai now for CL. Yeah, so Tim is just rebooming. Nilly will just be rebooming. They'll probably still sling. But it's a 2v2 essentially. We have Paladins and Mangadai versus Plumes and Cavalier right now. So that would put Heresy behind in my opinion. Simply because Paladin and Mangadai is so much stronger. At the moment. Once Melkor gets Paladin, then you can make an argument for Plumes and Paladin, but Melkor's not there yet. Vivi, I don't know how he got to Paladin so quickly. It was pretty crazy. And now Eddie realizes, okay, my Halbs will offer very little, so I can't take these fights, and I need to fall back. And this is the problem. Eddie, he went for 1 forward castle, denied. This forward castle went up earlier. That's going to be killed. And he needs those castles to produce Plumes. So I predict, as the trade now begins for Frantic, I predict that Eddie's going to lose a few castles here. That one hole, man. That one hole changed so much. If Nilly would have kept the Paladins out, then he would have sent resources probably to Melkor, so Melkor could get Paladin faster or Imp faster. I don't know. That was such a huge loss to take there. And it will be seen as a bit of a throw. But still, Heresy has the score lead. Population-wise, it's in favor of Frantic. Trade-wise, in favor of Frantic. Maybe Melkor at some point will just bust through these walls and attack Teal. I don't know. But Tim's going to get his base back. Vivi's probably FaceTiming Tim right now. He's like, hey Tim, I got your gold, bro. I saved them for you. Tim's probably like, thanks, man. Big cheesy grin on his face. It's important for Vivi to send the Trebs forward. Here they come. This is much needed momentum for Frantic. And they need to take advantage of the fact that Melkor does not have Paladin yet. But as I say that, Paladin completes. It's all about killing the castles. That is a lot of army from Eddie. 82 military. Mangadai fully upgraded. Plumes fully upgraded. Paladin's fully upgraded for Vivi. Not for Melkor yet. Blast Furnace is on the way in the middle of this fight. This is just a huge fight. This is a huge fight. And I think it's a fight that Frantic will hold. It's about the Paladin numbers. So hard to call. No, Vivi doesn't have the Paladin numbers. Vivi does not have the Paladin numbers. Vivi needs to back up. He needs to back up. The Halberdiers must have done a lot more work than I expected there. It's really hard to judge just how many times the Halberdiers are hitting the Paladins. And the Halbs just don't last long now that the Mangadai are here. But Melkor gets his final upgrade now. Keep in mind it's Frank Paladin, so it's 192 HP, which makes it better than Spanish Paladin. I don't know how to call this. I think that Nilly's still really far behind, which is a problem because eventually we'll probably see Tim in the Imperial Age to add Paladins for his team. There's Nilly starting his trade now. You also have to keep in mind that Mongols, if you have your Mongol player strong in Imperial Age, they can make Siege Onager versus the Plumes and Siege Ram versus the Plumes. So I think considering the Mongol player is weakest for Heresy, they have to push now. Because it's just a matter of time until we see Siege Onagers and whatnot for CL. Nilly hits the Castle Age. I think that he should do exactly what Tim is doing, even though he's behind in it, and he should boom. This is a massive fight. This is an amazing team game, and Melkor's way out of position. He needs to be in front. That was bad. More Paladin numbers, and for some reason he was over here. And now look at the cost of that mistake. Yep, the Trebuchet gets whittled down. Amazing micro from CL. And yeah, this is looking tough for Heresy. I just don't know if they can push through this. That's so many elite Mangadai from Happy Happy. 50 elite Mangadai. Vivi needs to get his Paladin number up, but Vivi has 23 trade cards, so it's just a matter of time, right? And I think they know that. Spanish trade means they're getting 138 gold per trip. So loads and loads of gold is coming back, and now Vivi's going for Siege Ram, and with Siege Ram, that changes things. Because these plumed archers, they cannot fight when Siege Rams are around. Puts pressure on Melkor to be at the front of the battles, to kill the Siege Rams, and that means that his Paladins will probably die to the Mangadai. It hurts Heresy so much that Nilly is the one who's Mongols. If Nilly was Franks, it'd be a similar situation, and it would be... Well, actually, it wouldn't be a similar situation, because then it would be Mangadai and Plumes, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Just having Nilly in the position he's in is just bad. You do not want your Mongol player to be behind. I think Nilly was probably going to sling regardless. So, I could be wrong, but I believe that they probably wanted Eddie to win this game for them before the hour mark with the sling. Because I can't see why Mayans would be chosen for any other reason. But still, Nilly could be in a better situation. He's catching up. 60 vills, he's getting there. And he's also adding a few trade carts. These fights have been ridiculous. These fights have been insane. And now Siege Ram's coming in for CL as well, and Eddie. So counter Siege Rams with Siege Rams, I guess. Difference between the ranged units we're seeing, though, is that the Mangadai shred Siege Rams, and Plumed Archers, they do not. And CL is confident enough to build another forward castle here. Score could not be closer. Game has been close in many different ways. And Nilly's on the way to the Imperial Age. So is Tim, though. So is Tim. So will Nilly get to full Mangadai? He has his stones back at home. I imagine he's going to be building castles. It's not even worth looking right now. You know, props to Melkor and Eddie. I don't know how, but Melkor has so many paladins. Vivi's actually been out-popped time and time again here. And you know what? Vivi's down to 160 population. They could actually push a little bit. Let's see if Eddie can mix in some trebuchets. Crazy production from Melkor. Still running into problems in the choke points. But man, what a player. Let me see Tim's situation. Tim, he's making stables. Does he have a castle for chivalry? He does not. Yeah, Tim will go Paladin. I need to check Nilly. Well, actually, we can see on the overlay, Nilly doesn't have any castles. Oh, God! Oh, God! CL's Mangadai. They tried to back up there. I'm amazed at what I'm seeing. I'm amazed that Eddie and Melkor have pushed this far. I genuinely thought they would not. And as someone said in the Twitch chat, and as I just mentioned, possibly the fact that Franks can produce Paladins 40% faster because they're stable, a unique tech. Maybe that's what has done it here. Vivi's been making Paladins, but Vivi, he doesn't have that extra production speed. Heresy could still do this. And what's Nilly going to build? Is Nilly just going to go directly into Siege? He's building Siege Workshop, so perhaps he's thinking Siege Ram or Onager himself. Vivi's getting Bombard Tower now, so yet again it's on the Chinese players to try and stall this one out. As all of the forward castles from CL are getting battered down. This is a crazy game. Tim is getting Cavaliers, so perhaps once Tim gets into the equation, this will be different. He's building his castle. He's building 2 castles now. On the other side, it is a stalemate. For now, though, it seems like Melkor is prepping an attack there. And Vivi might have been prepping an attack here as well. Vivi, he gets more Paladins. And CL, he's been carrying with his Mangadai, but this is still not a good fight. Vivi just can't get the Paladin numbers up. They need Tim. They need Tim now. 100 military for Eddie. 100 military. Mainly plumed archers. 20 to 30 halberdiers mixed in there. Just obscene army numbers. And I don't know if Frantic can hold this. This is going to be real tough for them. Tim is making light cav. Making light cav? Why is he making... Wait, are these... Why is he making light cav? Is he trying to get... Ah, he wants to get into Nilly's base. Oh, and has he just opened a hole? Oh, it's gonna haunt Nilly again. The light cav are going in to Nilly's base. Nilly's desperately trying to wall. And these light cav are gonna destroy the trade. They're gonna destroy the eco. Wow. These Frantic guys are so freaking sneaky, guys. They're so sneaky. Like, how did he pull that off? More than once now. And now Melkor, he doesn't have the Paladin numbers. There is Onager for Nilly, but that will not do a lot versus the Mangadai. Eddie has been surrounded by the Paladins and the Mangadai. And Frantic are pushing back, and they take the score lead. And let's look at the light cav. Nilly desperate to get this castle up. He'll probably get it up, but look at the losses he's taken. Look at the trade that's going down. Nilly's only at 120. He's less than 120 pop. And look at the population of Tim. Tim's at 165 population. He is making Paladins now. So surely Frantic will have an advantage. This has been a crazy, crazy game. Let me just say that. Oh, and Tim's going to push the other side. Tim's going to push the other side, which means Melkor will be weaker on this side because he needs to defend, and the snowball effect is about to begin. And now CL is getting Siege Onager as well. And with 1 or 2 big shots with the Siege Onagers, the game could just be over, as these plumed archers will get flattened. Nilly's trying to catch up. He's trying to get to Elite Mangadai. Only has the Fletching upgrade, which is the feudal upgrade. He has Onager. And maybe with a few big shots, he'll be okay. I think that Melkor's aware this is coming. Yes, they see the Paladins there, so they have to know Tim's going to show up on that side. Bodcanero on the way for Nilly now. I bet you there's still light cav running around. There's no way, yeah. There's no way they're going to get all of them. Oh, they're going to go towards the trade of China. But I think they've opened this up a bit too early. Vivi just runs through and will kill some Onagers. And more stone walls from Tim. More Mangadai from CL. Great positioning from Frantic. At almost all times, it seems. So I think Mayans drop off significantly here. I think Mayans get a lot weaker now. Because Siege Onagers are around. But at the same time, I think that Heresy can't really afford to push now. Because they need Nilly to be on even terms. So they might need to hold themselves. But You know, Tim has had a lot of paladins on this side. He hasn't... Oh! Oh my god, they're cutting through the wood! They're cutting through the wood! What a play! They're cutting through the trees! And here come the Mangadai, here come the paladins, and this is going to be the game-ending play! Oh my god, what a play from Frantic! What a way to finish this off! Even tricked the caster there. And they are through, they will run right back to the trade, and that has to be the game. The only way that's not the game is if Eddie and Nilly and Melkor can push this corner at the same time. And then we'd have like a trade instead of a base trade. Mangadai. They've been gated in. Melkor actually with some brilliant gates to try and keep these units trapped in here. But I think that CL, as the town bell is rung, he's just more concerned with keeping this open for a little while. And yep, he just runs right by. And Paladins are going to kill some trade carts. What about the north? North, Frantic is holding. And that could be it right there. What a way to finish it. It's not over yet, of course, but Nilly still doesn't have his Mangadai upgrades. He'll lose his siege. They can't push there. And now look at the markets. All the natural gold is gone. So if you don't have trade, you won't have gold. And Melkor is forced to chase. Melkor's at 42 Vils. I think that sick move from Frantic, that absolutely sick move, could finish off the game. If you know this is coming, what you should do in Heresy's position is delete your markets and rebuild some towards the center. You would be getting less gold, but it's still better than nothing here. That was an awesome move to cut. Melkor was expecting some pressure to come on his walls. He was not expecting the cut through the trees there. And that's a lot of trade going down now. Look at the trade difference. Vivi's on 70 trade cards. What's his gold count like? Funny enough, he somehow doesn't have a lot of gold. But I believe he's buying the stone so we could build bombard towers. 70 trade cards with Spanish. It might be a bit much there for Vivi, but... yeah, here we go. Melkor needs to clean this up. If he doesn't clean this up, this is definitely the game. And, oh, wise decision. Wise decision. CL doesn't fight. Timmy doesn't fight. They just run. They just run. And as they run, they will keep all of Red's military at home. He will have none in the north. And, yeah, well, that's going to be a problem, if you couldn't already tell. We have bombard cannons and trebuchets from the Fat Dragon. The Fat Dragon is attacking Eddie's castles yet again. CL micros down all the onagers. This is some sick stuff, guys. And I fear for Heresy now. I think the end is near. Remember when Eddie was at 100 military? Well, those days are gone. He's at 50 military now and 130 pop. Remember when Melkor was at 80 Vils? Well, those days are gone as well. He's at 26 villagers. And, while the Mangadai and the Paladins are getting cleaned up, I think that they've lost too much positioning in the north. And Vivi's also building some bombard towers here. I like how he just sends a few villas to build bombard towers just because he can. Just to be a pain. Yep, the GG is called. And what a game! What a game! I knew Oasis would deliver. I knew Oasis would deliver. That was an awesome game. Well, before we get to the brilliance of Frantic, I think that we need to say, well played, Heresy. Because Heresy was not favored to ever win versus Frantic. And in this event, they're up against a lot of teams which are always going to be favored against them. And to get to this stage, to get that close, was really well played from them. Of course, in Game 1, it definitely looked like they were outclassed. But in Game 2, they outclassed Frantic. In Game 3, they came very, very close. So, well done. This strategy was obvious to me, though, from the beginning. The strategy was obvious. Frantic wanted to get to this point. They knew that they would have Spanish trade in late game. They would then have Paladins from Spanish, Bombard Towers from Spanish, Frank Paladins, and Mongol Siege and Mangadai. Whereas you look at the Civ choices from Heresy, they chose Mayans, and Mayans drop off at this stage of the game. So that's why they went for a sling. That's why they wanted to pressure, and they wanted to kill Frantic before they got to this point. And unfortunately, it just got really tough for them. Vivi, for a while, I mean, geez, there's so many different MVPs of this game. There's so many different MVPs. Because Vivi had to hold on his own versus Eddie, who was receiving resources and had elite plumes. So Vivi, first of all, went for that sick play, that gamble, and got through Nilly's walls. Then it got to the point where Vivi couldn't do it on his own. CL came back into it with the insane Mangadai fighting. 550 kills, 237 deaths for him. And then Tim, remember, you could call him important because of the walls. You could also call him important because of the reboom and then the paladins. And Tim became just a monster once he got to the paladins. Fighting on the left, fighting in the trade. He was just everywhere. That was a cool game. That was a cool game. So here are the achievements for it if you want to look at the kills in a more orderly fashion. Here's the economy stats. I think, man, just a few things. Like, I'm good friends with Nilly, right? And I think a lot of you guys know him. There's just a few things there. Like, the hole in the wall, if that didn't happen, I think that he would have been to Mangadai faster. He could have been to Onager faster. I feel for the guy, man. I feel for the guy. But there's the resource distribution and resources collected. Obviously, the Chinese team with their Spanish trade are going to have a lot more there. I think that's about it. We can look at the timeline if you guys want to see that. But of course, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to stop by the Twitch action at some point, you know where the link is. It's in the video description. Make sure to check that out if you have any interest. We're going to move on to more expert games today. We have other sets coming up in the Escape Champions League.